Do you remember our episode on Josh wines, Carmela?
I do.
Do you remember what we thought about them?
Well, it was a challenging one.
It was. Well, today we're going to do a little learning and a little tasting on another big popular wine brand that's also easy to find and reasonably priced called Bread and Butter Wines.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're going to see if we think they're worth buying or not.
Ooh, it sounds promising.
It's like a public service announcement for wine.
That's right.
Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair. If you're new to our podcast, here is a quick orientation. So each week what we do is we explore a different wine, varietal, or blend, or brand like Pinot Noir, or Bordeaux, or Bread and Butter wines. And we dive into what makes it unique and special and worth learning about. Or if you should bother to buy them at all, in this case. And our goal is to help you expand your wine knowledge in a fun way. It's so fun.
Oh my God, so fun.
That normal people can understand. And we also taste and review 2 to 3 wines under $20 each and share our scores and recommendations to help you find great wines without breaking the bank.
Nice.
So thanks for joining us, and we're proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
chatty,
and entertaining.
Hooray.
So it's been a little while, Carmela, but I thought I would bring back a concept that I think resonates with our listeners and wine drinkers in general, and that is taking a look at common wines that you find in stores and see if we think they're any good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it is helpful.
Yeah,
when you see it enough, you're curious.
You're curious.
Right?
So hopefully we'll get a little bit of feedback from our listeners to let us know, hey, we think this is a great idea, or this is the dumbest shit you guys have ever come up with.
Well, it's one of those things, I guess, that somebody may see the title and go, not
that interested.
Yeah.
But hopefully there's a lot of people that, like the Josh wine episode, the Google machine really likes it. So
Right. Well, and I feel like, too, if it's reasonably priced and easy to find, then it makes it more appealing.
That's right. Bread and butter wines like Josh wines, again, are easy to find. Then they fall into what we would call an affordable price range, under $20. And the industry says they are in the premium wine category. And so we'll talk a little bit about what that means.
Fancy.
Now, when we say we're going to determine if bread and butter wines are any good, we mean from our perspective, obviously.
Right.
Obvi. Right. And hopefully listeners of our podcast understand what our tastes are like and the kinds of wines we generally rate highly or lowly, and then are able to determine
Is lowly a word?
It is now.
Okay.
But they're able to determine based on what they like if they agree with us.
True.
So we've said this a million times. If you find that your taste in wine is different from ours, that's awesome.
Right. I think they've figured us out now.
I hope so.
I mean, I would think at this point.
Yeah. All we want to do is be the gauge by which you determine or discern whether or not it's a wine you're going to like.
Right. We're just doing a little homework for you.
Yeah. And it might mean that you regularly disagree with us.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah, at
like
least
I
you know.
regularly disagree with Carmela.
And that's okay.
And we're still together.
I mean, 20, how many years?
Don't even talk about it. So now Carmela and me, or is it Carmela and I? It's Carmela and I. Carmela and I generally stay, because it's the subject of the sentence.
The English teacher
I know,
second-guessing
I
himself.
stumped myself. But we generally stay away from mass-produced grocery store wines on this podcast, because what we want to do is learn and help you learn about new wines and wine regions and expand your wine horizons. I mean, we already said that, right?
Right.
Like, if you listen to us often, you know that we're just not big fans of wines like Cabernet Sauvignon or oaky Chardonnays, because we feel like, or at least I feel like, those wines are really common and they're kind of often not that good.
Well, in our opinion.
And there's so many different types of wines and varietals and styles out there that it's a shame. I think it's a shame if you don't find something else that you love.
Shame on you.
Shame. So we are also cognizant. That's a 10-cent word. We're cognizant of the fact.
God, we're getting so serious.
I know
here.
that the reason Cabernet Sauvignon and Chardonnay are so ubiquitous, another 10-cent word, is not because they're
expanding our vocabulary tonight.
It's like expanding your wine horizons and your vocab.
How many of you just Googled that?
No, none. Because our listeners are smart.
Right.
Anyway, we also know that they are ubiquitous or found all over the place, not because they're the best wines, but because they are what the big wine industry has sort of pushed on the American wine drinker, because I would argue those wines are easy to grow. They're produced in the state that makes the most wine, which is California. So again, I would argue, and we often argue, that the wine industry has really strongly influenced what American wine drinkers drink. And rather than catering to what people's preferences actually are, they are training people to think that these wines are the wines that they want. That's what it's like brainwashing. It's like brainwashing.
True. They're thinking that this is what they love. But that's a lot of times the only thing they've tried.
They've tried because it's the only thing that's really available. Mm-hmm. And I would argue that their goal is to keep you ignorant. It's to keep you ignorant.
It makes it easy on them. Then they don't have to change things up.
Exactly. Until they decide that there's a new wine they want to push on us, like the Prosecco craze. Prosecco, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's everywhere, right?
Well, and that's been a thing for a long time now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But remember, it kind of came out of nowhere.
Had some staying power, though.
No, I know, but it kind of came out of nowhere. And now everybody's like, Prosecco, Prosecco, Prosecco.
I mean, do you blame them?
No,
I like Prosecco.
I think you're missing the point.
I know. No, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Anyway, we're not the only ones who think that the wine industry is trying to push its wares on us. I have some articles in our show notes. Did you know we have show notes?
I did.
Okay.
And
well,
I do.
Those articles go into depth on the subject if you really want to see what others say. But like Carmela said, it often comes just down to economics. It's economical for big wine to produce generic wines that are like overripe and jammy and high in alcohol. No, but you kind of did. And high in alcohol and high in tannins and over extracted. We call them punch you in the face wines.
Right.
Sometimes they're called cocktail wines.
Who wants to be punched in the face?
I don't. Anyway, they're wines that you don't have to think too hard about. You know what you're going to get. Right. They're going to be really big and bold and whatever.
They're buzzword wines.
Yes. And by the way, that term, that point of view that they're wines that you don't have to think too hard about, is exactly marketing speak the Bread and Butter Wines uses. And I kind of feel the same way about Starbucks, and I kind of feel the same way about McDonald's. I don't think Starbucks makes great coffee. I don't think McDonald's makes a great burger. Like if you went to a local burger joint or you went to a local espresso shop, you're going to get better stuff. But what we like about them, or why they're so popular, is because they're so consistent.
Right.
You know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. You don't have to think too hard about it.
Right.
We also know that a lot of people drink wines like Bread and Butter and drink a lot of Cabernet and Chardonnay. And so we also think that it's hard. We can't, as a podcast, we can't avoid it. We can't just pretend like it doesn't exist. I think instead what we should do, Carmela, is we should take it head on.
Embrace it?
Not necessarily embrace it, but not avoid it. I think we should look into it, tell you what our thoughts and feelings are, and then you can say, hey, you guys are full of crap. I really like this stuff. Or like, maybe you've got a point. But I think the other thing is, if you don't know where else to turn, I don't know what other
desperate.
I don't know what other wines to drink. We do have like 140 plus episodes that you can look at where we cover a lot of different wine varietals and stuff. But anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to taste 3 different Bread and Butter wines, and we're going to let you know what we think. We're going to give you the honest.
Wow. And
some people don't want, but we're going to give it to you.
No. Honest or not.
All these, yes, honest or wine. I don't know if I want. No. Now, all the wines are under the $20 wine price cap, whatever that we have. They're super easy to find. And again, we have a good cross section of varietals. We have a Cabernet Sauvignon, a Chardonnay, and a Sauvignon Blanc. And we promise we will give Bread and Butter wines a fair shot. We're not going in, we're going in a little biased, but we're going to be open-minded when we taste.
True.
But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So thank you for listening to us and supporting our show. And now would be a great time, if you haven't done it yet, to subscribe or follow our podcast. It's a free way to support us, and we really want to thank all of you who have already done it. And another really awesome way to support us and keep our show free is to leave a nice rating review on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And then you can also follow us and see pictures of the wines we're tasting and trying today, and weird AI pictures at Instagram at The Wine Pair Podcast. You can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there. You just missed it, but don't worry. If you missed the November newsletter, you can email me at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com, and I will personally send it to you. I will arrive at your door. No, I won't. No. It is in your inbox, in your email, in your electronic mail box.
Nice.
And we also want to make content you care about, so send us a note. Tell us what you like and what you don't like. And if you can tell from our episodes, we really do cater to that. So last couple of weeks, we've done episodes that have been suggested by our listeners, and we love it. We want to take care of that for you. We want you to hear stuff you want to hear.
Okay.
Okay.
I like it.
Thanks. And I hope you like it. And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair podcast to, because that's the best way for us to grow listeners, when you tell your family and friends about us. And this week, we want you to recommend us to anyone who thinks that bread and butter wines are the bee's knees.
How do you know that?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe you find it, like you find it in their fridge or on their table.
The other thing is that they may already have an opinion about.
Well, I know. So maybe this would be an opportunity for them to hear what other people think, because maybe we'll like it or maybe we won't like it.
Okay.
And maybe you're too like worried about telling them that their wine sucks. I'm not saying that it sucks.
So are they going to tell these people after they hear the episode or before?
Or either. Both. Maybe. Well, it's hard to, I don't know, because it would be hard for them to hear this before they listen to it.
Oh, wait a minute.
So
I got to rethink that one.
Yeah, so I think you've caught yourself in a catch-22. So anyway, if a tree falls in the woods, did the podcast actually happen?
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But we think that's
rewind.
Go send it to those people and say, hey, I think you might be interested in this.
Right. Like because maybe you're trying to like crush their hopes and dreams, and you're like, we'll just see what happens.
But you're too nice to do it yourself, so you want us to do it.
You're tired of going to their house and them serving you this wine. Or maybe it's like, we love this wine, and you're like, bring it on, and this is confirmation that you should.
Exactly.
Did that all make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have been confirmed. Okay, so let's get to our topic. Bread and butter wines are in what the industry calls the premium category, although in some places I have seen them placed in the super premium category.
Wow.
And also sometimes in the popular premium category. So depending on who you talk to, there's different, like, these tiers.
Well, what do you think of bread and butter, though? When I think of bread and butter, I think of like it's a staple.
Okay.
Like, I don't think of it as like premium.
Well, so that was my question. When you think of premium or super premium, what comes to mind?
I mean, I'm thinking like, something like chantilly cream and,
Ooh,
and like,
chantilly cream.
well, I'm just like butter, bread
is.
and butter. That just seems like staples. Like you have them. They're just every day.
Okay.
They seem basic.
So okay. So bread and butter, maybe that's their point. They want you to have it every day. I don't know.
I don't know either. But that's why premium's throwing me off. That seems like upper echelon type of stuff.
Well, let me break it down for you, sister.
Okay.
Okay, so premium is really about pricing tiers, not really quality when you talk about the wine industry.
Okay.
So we do often equate cost with quality, and that's probably true more often than not. Part of what we want to do on our podcast is help you find high quality wines at reasonable prices. But anyway, that is a tangent. So you have it, and you can grab it from our show notes. We do have show notes. The wine industry generally categorizes their wines as follows. Generally, I say generally because as I mentioned in the beginning, it can move around. Value wines are $4 to $12. Popular wines, $13 to $16. Premium, $17 to $22. Super premium, $23 to $30. Ultra premium, $30 to $50. Luxury, $50 to $100. Super luxury, $100 to $200.
Holy
and icon, $200 or more.
So premium's just basic.
Kind of. It's like the third lowest tier.
But it's not. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But again, the idea or the assumption is that you go higher up in tiers, you're getting better quality grapes. They may be coming from a specific vineyard. The winemakers are really good. They're very meticulous. They're trying to, whatever, right? As you get higher and higher in the tiers of wine, not the crying tiers, but the tranches. So what can you expect from the tranche of wine that Bread and Butter falls into, you may ask, Carmela?
I'll ask that. Whatever you just asked.
Okay, good, because you're not really listening.
No,
but anyway, I think, again, as I mentioned, we should expect the wines, they're going to be consistent and reliable. You're going to know what you're getting. Doesn't mean they're awesome. It just means they're reliable. Okay. They're produced by reputable wine brands, reputable winemakers that have pretty good skills, but they're focused on consistency over anything else.
Okay, so premium is consistency.
I think so.
Okay.
They're going to find grapes that fit the flavor profile they're looking for at a price that works for them, and so they can keep the price reasonable for people.
So Starbucks and McDonald's premium.
I mean, I think Starbucks you would consider kind of premium. I think McDonald's might be value premium, like popular premium.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, you're going to get a consistency with when you go to those places.
Right.
I also think that these wines are going to be made in very controlled and very scientific ways. These are going to be high intervention wines. Some people like to talk about low intervention wines. It means they're more natural. They're letting the natural things happen naturally.
This is more manipulated.
This is going to be highly manipulated because they really want to create this consistency over quality per se, right?
Okay.
And that is kind of my problem with them, Carmela. I don't think there's anything special about them. In fact, they don't want special.
Hey, we haven't even drank them yet.
I know, but this is kind of my whole...
This is the problem with premium wines, you're saying?
Yeah, like these big brands, these huge mass-produced wines. Like, in general, I just don't... Like, I'm wary of them because I just think that they're going for consistency almost, over anything else. I don't think there's anything unique or artisan in them. Like, when I interview winemakers, I always ask them, do you lean on the science or the art of winemaking? And most of them say, well, I started out more science and I moved to art, or it's a balance or whatever. I think these wines are going to be almost 100% science. They're going to be tested a lot. They're going to be, they're going to be doing a lot of chemistry on them. They're going to make sure everything is exactly the way that they want it. They're not going to, I don't think there's a lot of naturalness in it.
Interesting though, because it's that's a skill, right? Like to keep something ultra consistent.
Definitely a skill.
Yeah. So
and
that's...
it's something that a lot of people want and like.
Right.
It's not me.
No.
I want odd, like you.
Wow.
Like my wife is odd. You don't know her.
Odd? I've never been categorized as odd.
This is
not even like, I mean, I hope I'm better than premium.
You're super premium.
That's it?
Yeah, you're not quite like
not...
luxury.
Wow, we're really this is a topic for a whole nother podcast.
I know. I feel like I'm getting in trouble. So let's go back to Bread and Butter. Now, Bread and Butter
Just
wines.
Stop while you're
way behind. Yeah. So Bread and Butter wines on their website, they say some things which I think tells us a lot. Here, I'm going to read. These are quotes. At Bread and Butter, we believe good things in life shouldn't be complicated. Good things should just be, good, honest, and delicious, and uncomplicated. Because when we second guess, overthink, and decide that every little thing is so important, we're ignoring what really matters: the good, the honest, the delicious, and the uncomplicated.
Okay, so
tell me what you think. I wanted to ask.
The thing is, I do feel like sometimes drinking wine, people don't want it to be complicated.
Yeah, or fussy or stuffy.
Well, not even that. Even sometimes I just want to drink a good glass of wine, or a glass of wine that I like to taste. And they just don't want all this fluff or all this extra. They just want to, it's a Friday night there. So in some ways, I can see how that marketing would work.
Yeah,
for a whole
agree.
lot of people.
But I find, and they even have a phrase in some of their marketing, don't overthink things.
Yeah.
So to me,
we overthink all week.
No, I get it. I got to say, for me, that is a total turnoff.
You want a complicated bottle of wine.
I want to think about it. I don't want it to be just like, I want something that's going to like be interesting and
well, not everybody's that way.
I get it. No, that's why these brands do great.
Right. I mean, I'm just being the counter,
You're being devil's advocate.
Right, because I just am.
Not only is she odd, she is the devil.
Odd. I mean, I don't mind being odd. I think that's kind of
You're really mad about this whole odd thing. I've never called you that before. And
I'm just like, should I embrace the oddity of myself?
Embrace odd. Okay, so let's do just a few more quick things. Bread and Butter is owned by a larger wine brand called WX Brands. It was started in 2013. It's been one of the fastest growing wine brands in the U.S. for several years. And in 2023, they produced over 1.5 million cases of wine, and they're aiming towards 2 million. Now, I couldn't find clear information about where they rank in sales. They're not in the top 30, but they're a top and growing wine brand. Mm-hmm. They make their wines from California grapes, and that is on... Like they source them across California. Now they do have one wine that's a Prosecco that actually does come from Italy, but otherwise all their grapes come from California. It's a mass-produced wine. It's not organic. It's not sustainable. It's not vegan. Some people care about that. Some people don't. It's fine. Again, there's going to be a lot of intervention, a lot of filtering and fining, a lot of like stuff going on. And then some of their wines have done okay. Like the 2020 Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon got a 91 from Wine Enthusiast, and Decanter gave their 2021 California Chardonnay 90 points. But in general, you're not going to find a lot of professional ratings on their wines. And I don't think that's necessarily because professionals are not rating them. I think it's most of the time, if a rating is low, you just never hear about it. If a rating is below 80, you would never hear about it.
Right.
So there you go.
Just wouldn't make it on the books.
No, they would. I think there's like an agreement between winemakers and wine reviewers that we just,
Don't
if
publish
it's crappy, we won't do it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Wine Pair Podcast, we'll tell you.
Wow. No, we don't really either. I mean,
Yes,
we absolutely do. But I'm thinking like, no.
What have you been? We've been doing this podcast for a while.
My
now.
mind was going a different direction. I was thinking about something.
Tell me what you were thinking about.
No, I was just thinking that how, like with winemakers, we don't typically like to review their wines.
Yes.
Or taste their wine. Not because, doesn't mean that we've tasted them and we don't like them. It just means that we just don't want that to happen. If you interview them, it's not that you've tasted their wine and decided, oh, we love them.
Yeah, but I do that out of principle because I don't want people to feel like, oh, they're just saying that because they interviewed those people.
Exactly.
That's why I won't do it because I want to be honest.
Yeah, so my mind was just.
You were going down a good path, an odd path, but a good path.
My goodness, I'm still puzzled. I guess I'm odd.
Okay, it's finally sinking in.
I wonder what people
You
think.
say things enough, people start believing it.
I'm not. Well, I wish I was maybe a little odd and unique, but probably not.
Me too. Okay, anyway, should we talk about the wines that we chose for this episode, Carmela?
Go for it.
Okay, all the wines we've chosen for this episode are under $20. In fact, they were all exactly the same price, and all of them should be very, very, very easy to find. I bought all of them at wine.com, but you should be able to find these wines at any big wine store, any grocery store. I'd be shocked if you couldn't find this. If you couldn't find this wine at a local grocery store or Bevmo or Total Wine or something like that. And the varietals we chose are also super common. So we're not challenging you today. We are challenging ourselves.
Okay.
So the first wine we're going to drink is the 2022 Bread Butter California Chardonnay. And so we are just going to get that one out of the way from the get-go. I'm trying not to prejudge, but I can tell this is going to be a pretty oaky Chardonnay, which is what we don't usually love, but it's fine.
We might love this.
We might love it. I have a kind of generic tech sheet for their wines. And for this wine, they say that the grapes come, again, from California. And they call out the North Coast, the Central Coast, and select interior sites, which is just a hodgepodge. It's everywhere. Just say California. They also say that they age the wines for 8 months in the tank with American and French oak integration. Which is a weird term. I'm not really sure what integration means. I'm going to bring it up in a couple of minutes. I have suspicions about what integration means, but if somebody knows, let me know. Let us know, and we'll talk about it on the podcast. Okay. It's 13.5% alcohol, which is decently high for a white wine, but it's not atypical for an oaky Chardonnay. They say they use malolactic fermentation, which again is a process where malic acid, which is tart, converts into lactic acid, which is softer and creamier. So this will not be a crisp wine. It's going to be a rounder wine, a creamier wine, and it will have some of that butteriness that people like a lot of times in a Chardonnay.
Right.
Oh, the one thing I'll say is when I bought this wine on wine.com, this is weird. I've never had this happen before. I couldn't buy just one. I had to buy two.
Oh, my.
Isn't that weird?
Was it like 2 for the price of 1?
No, because I don't know why. I mean, it wasn't like it was a special sale, or all the wines were exactly the same price. So I don't know.
Was it just for the Chardonnay?
That was the other thing. It was just the Chardonnay, not the other two. Okay. Kind of weird. Anyway, the next wine we're going to drink is the 2023 Bread Butter Sauvignon Blanc. And this one has a screw cap, so they get extra points for that.
For sure.
On their fact sheet, they describe this wine as refreshing, zesty, and lively. It looks like they mostly get their grapes from just the north coast of California, which makes sense. It's cooler climate. 13% alcohol, which is a little high for a Sauv Blanc, but not unusual for California wines because the warmer climates tend to make higher alcohol wines. But I couldn't find a lot about how this wine is made. I don't think it's oaked, but I don't want to make any assumptions without tasting it. They did say the wine is fermented in stainless steel tanks, but that I don't know. That's about all I could find.
I'm glad you chose a Chardonnay and a Sauv Blanc.
I know.
Because we like Sauv Blancs typically.
Yeah.
And this will be good.
It'll be good to see if like, hey, maybe it's just certain styles of theirs that we don't like.
Right.
It's not the brand in general.
Right. And it could just be like if we like if we like the Sauvignon Blanc and we don't, but we don't like that, then it would just probably err on, you just are still not into the Chardonnays.
Yeah, it could be that.
Could be that. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last wine we're going to drink is the 2022 Bread Butter Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a wine where they source their grapes from California. And they say, again, on their text sheet, the same confusing statement where the wines are aged in 10 months in tank with American and French oak integration. So again, I looked it up. I'm not sure what it means, but I'm suspicious that what it means is that they either put oak chips or oak planks in the tank when they ferment it and when they are letting it age to infuse an oaky taste to it. And I can see why they would do that. It's going to be more, if they are doing this, they would do it because it's more economical. It's cheaper to do that than to put wines in barrels. You put them in a big vat, you just put some chips or planks. The other thing is...
It's kind of a shortcut.
It's kind of a shortcut. I also think you're going to get more consistency. You can gauge exactly how much oakiness you want to put on that wine. If you put it in barrels,
they're inconsistent, right?
They're inconsistent. Each barrel is going to be a little different. The wine can like evaporate a little bit. Like they're not fully enclosed. So this is going to be a way to control that wine a little bit better. But again, if you know what integration means and it's different than what I think it is, please let us know. They describe this wine as ripe, luscious, and bold, which I'm just prepared to think it means is a wine that I'm not going to like. Those are not usually descriptors that I love. But I'm going to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
On that, I think that's enough information. It's time to stop speculating and time to start drinking, which is an important thing. And
always.
if you have any of these wines on hand, please drink along with us. And then you can tell us if you think we're on the mark. Like if you have a Bread Butter Chardonnay and you drink along with us and we say we like it or we don't like it and you have the opposite, like let us know.
Right.
We'd be super interested to hear if you think that we're off or on.
It's almost too bad they don't know what we're going to be doing each week so they can plan to have some of these.
They could look because I do list what wines we're doing.
In the newsletter.
No, in the show. Oh my God, this is how little Carmela actually knows.
Wait.
In the show description, I always say what wines we are reviewing.
No, but then it doesn't come out until...
I know, but you don't have to listen to it the minute it comes out.
Okay.
It's not like
I do.
TV.
I listen to it like right away.
I can tell. It's not like TV used to be where you had to either you watched it or you waited for the reruns.
Okay.
Now with podcasts, you just listen anytime.
Right.
This has been a very educational podcast for Carmela. She has really learned a lot.
I'm listening this time.
Thank you for that. Oh my God. And on that note, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, we're back and we're ready to try our first wine. This is the Bread Butter California Chardonnay. It's from California. 2022 is the year. It was $13.99 at wine.com. It's 13.5% alcohol and 100% Chardonnay. And Carmela, why don't you just say first what you think of the wine bottle and label?
Well, again, consistent, right? They're all this way.
But it's kind of plain.
Well, right, but it's kind of basic. The
like bread and butter.
Basic kind of staple.
Do you think this is going to be just an opinion? Do you think this is an appealing label?
Well, you know what? Sometimes people do dig just kind of a classic label, something that's just...
I know, but this is plain.
It's really, really plain. There's nothing on it. So, no, I don't think that people... I mean, I sometimes will choose a bottle of wine for a label.
Do.
So you better make a good bottle of wine if you're going to be this...
plain.
Simple.
And now it does fit their whole marketing, uncomplicated,
right,
don't overthink
exactly.
it. So it fits from that brand perspective.
That's what I'm kind of digging about.
You're digging it.
At least they're consistent across the board. It would be weird if it was like very, a complicated
You're right.
label.
You're right. Like me. If it was complicated like me, that would be weird.
That would be, a little bit like scary.
Okay. What do you think of the color?
Dark.
Like somebody didn't drink enough water.
Right. Like, better pour yourself a tall glass.
I think it's almost like...
it's like lemon. It's like looking at...
It looks lemonade-y.
Yeah. Really dark.
Yeah. Okay. What are you smelling?
Well, I am getting some creaminess on it. Maybe a little bit of vanilla.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting sweet, like caramely. At first I got fruit. At first I got like apple, but I'm getting a lot of like caramel.
It's a little rich. Like it definitely is rich and almost a little decadent, on the nose.
I can smell that. Yeah, butteriness, caramel corn, kettle corn.
Yeah, and a little bit of saltiness or saline on it too.
Yeah,
with that kettle corn idea. I feel like.
Hard to get maybe a little pineapple or something on it. Maybe there's a little skoosh of pineapple.
Yeah, it smells a little bit tropical to me. Like a little bit like I'm almost getting a hint of like Hawaii smell. Yeah, anybody who's walked off the plane in Hawaii.
Yeah, if you have an unoaked Chardonnay, they are often very tropical. Okay, well, let's taste it and see what we think.
Okay.
Oh, ooh. Wow.
That's like dessert.
Butter.
Yeah.
It's lemony, but buttery. It's kind of tart, but also creamy.
I would say kind of caramely is right. Like almost like a really, because, there's a lot of cream in caramel, right? It almost, it's a little bit, I don't know. It's definitely like a for something about the caramely, it tastes like a creme caramel.
It tastes, what is the difference between a creme caramella and a creme brulee?
Creme caramella.
You said creme caramel. What's the difference between a creme caramel and a creme brulee?
Well, the brulee,
Remember, Carmela is a baker.
Okay.
And she has baby cakes, the whole thing.
Okay, but anyway, one of them has like the crunchy sugar that you caramelize the sugar. Mm-hmm. The other one is that you invert and it has the caramel I don't know. I don't really know. My mom makes creme caramel, and that one is you invert it, and it's like
there's your answer.
It's like a syrupy.
Yeah, creme brulee is they put that on the top,
right?
When they crunch it up.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of tastes like both of them.
It's kind of got a little bit of a chemically taste to me. It's really
a little artificial.
Oh, it's really not very pleasant.
Yeah,
I find this like it's not even overly oaky. It's super vanilla and lemon and buttery. It's super buttery.
Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of fruit on it.
I feel like it's butter popcorn. Like that's what I feel like I'm drinking.
It feels a little, this is going to be kind of harsh, but tastes a little cheap to me.
It does taste cheap.
I don't know what that even means, but it just is.
I think you can get better $14 Chardonnays.
Yeah, and I think so too. I think there have been Chardonnays that we've enjoyed that are way better than this. Yeah.
What would you eat? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm just thinking it definitely almost tastes like
aftertaste. It's kind of gnarly.
Well, and the aftertaste reminds me of like a bottle of wine you had 2 or 3 nights ago.
Yeah.
That you like go, ooh, maybe I should just cook with this. Or maybe
you shouldn't cook with bad wine. You should just pour it down the sink.
True. But yeah, it's something that you may open and taste and go, I don't think this is good anymore.
Oof. Okay, what food would you pair with this?
Well,
yikes.
I don't know if I really eat a lot with this. What would you?
I mean, you'd have to hide it. I kind of feel like, get a nice greasy like grilled cheese sandwich.
Ooh,
a nice, quesadilla with some salsa on it,
or like
sour
a white
cream.
Pizza, something like bready and
Yeah, I wouldn't want anything delicate though. I want something cheesy and
mac and cheese,
but thick and rich with like breadcrumbs on the top, and maybe like hot dogs put in there too.
This is rich too, so you would almost need something to be able to stack up to it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're going to rate this wine. As a reminder on our rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points. 7 and above means we would buy it. 4 and below means we're going to pour it down the sink. And a 5 or a 6 means we'll drink it. We finish it. We're doing okay with it, but we're probably not going to buy it. So what rating are you going to give this wine?
Well, I'm kind of thinking, I think I'll give it, this might be generous, but I think I'll give it a 5.
Oh my God.
Well, because
I am contemplating between a 2 and a 3.
Wow.
This is a bad wine.
I know.
This is a bad. Why are you giving it a 5? You're saying you wouldn't pour this down the sink. You're saying after we're done with this episode,
we're not going to drink it.
That's my point.
Okay, so
that's my point. Like, would you, if there was nothing else left in the house for wine and it was in the fridge, would you still pour a glass of it?
Maybe.
I would not. I would absolutely not.
I would not serve this to anybody.
Absolutely not. I would not drink any more of this wine.
Wow, this is like peer pressure. You're right.
Well, I just think a 5 is like, we've rated wines that are 5 that are like, we would drink them. They're good. They're good enough.
Yeah, maybe I'm being too generous.
I think you're being way too generous.
Well, then you know what? I don't want to just like crush it now that I gave it a, so all right, I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. Well, just to balance things out, I'm going to give it a 2.
Whoa.
It's pretty shitty. I mean, I think it's a pretty crappy wine, and I think you're being way too nice to it.
I might be. Maybe I'm just, it's a Friday.
You're like
Friday
ready.
For
ready to party.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it isn't something, like, again, I would not serve this to anybody.
It's bad. Yeah. I would never buy
this.
And
I do have a feeling.
And I had to buy 2 of them.
Oof.
God,
what are we going to do with that?
We already gave one away.
Oh, shoot.
You served it the other night when your cousins came over.
What?
Because I knew they would be okay with it.
Did they drink it?
Yes. I don't know. You served it.
Oh, man alive. Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break on that. Hopefully none of them are listening. We're going to take a break and we're going to try our next wine. Okay, we're back and we have to do a little backtracking.
Yeah.
So first of all, Carmela did serve this the other night. Oh, we hadn't tried it yet.
No, and the other thing is the women who came, like the cousins who came, they love Chardonnay.
Oaky Chardonnays.
So we just, and
I figured they'd like it. They probably loved it.
Nobody did balk or say, what the heck are you serving us?
No.
But, so which is good. So maybe they liked it. So again, this could be something people like.
Yeah, pee-pee.
No,
okay,
stop.
Anyway.
So that's the deal. We actually chose it because we were trying to choose something that the crowd would like.
You're right.
Okay.
So we're defending ourselves. Okay, the next wine we're going to try is the Bread Butter Sauvignon Blanc. It's from the California North Coast. This is a 2023 $13.99, as they all were at wine.com. 13% alcohol, 100% Sauvignon Blanc. What's the color? First of all, what's the
lighter,
color?
For sure.
Very light, clear.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty. It's definitely, but it does have some color to it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, like lemon water to me, not lemonade. What are you smelling?
Oh, I feel like it's very pineapple, very peach. Pineapple, I feel like you get in the pineapple cups, that are like with the little bit of syrupy smell to it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit, sometimes they say Sauv Blanc has a little bit of cat pee. I'm getting a little bit of cat pee on this. Like it's a little harsh.
Holy moly.
But I can see where you're going with like lemony, pineapple-y. You're not? Should we do a pea smell test?
Yeah, everybody, we better figure out what pea smells like.
No, but anyway, a little bit of apple, like a little bit of orchard fruit.
Oh, okay.
It's a little perfumey to me. It seems a little perfumey, almost a little soapy.
Yeah, okay, I could get behind that. I mean, that's why I'm thinking it doesn't have like a fresh pineapple or fresh peach, but I always kind of, when I think about the little pouches or the little cups that I always think of peach and pineapple with that. Yeah, syrup. And I liked it back then. Haven't had one in a bajillion years.
Bajillion. Mm-hmm. All right, let's try it and see what we think.
I'm tasting more of the cat pee.
Okay, that worries me more. I don't know what that means.
Put it in my brain. I don't know. What are you tasting?
It's not bad. I mean, it's lemony. It's very lemony. It's got a little bit. It does have this kind of artificial taste to it a little bit. It's kind of
it lingers.
Lingers. It's not very clean. Like you want an acid wine like this to just kind of like get right off your tongue.
No. It's a little bitter. A
little bitter at the end. That's good. It's got a little like lemon pith to it or lime pith to it. A little bit like the lemon in the lemon squeeze bottles.
Ah, yeah. A little artificial.
Yeah.
Lemon.
But it's zesty. It's zippy.
Yeah.
It would be good by the pool. It'd be good with food, I think.
What would you have with it?
I think you'd have like the typical things we'd have with a Sauv Blanc. I think fish would be good. I think charcuterie would be good. I think fried foods, spicy foods. I think it's, it's serviceable. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Fine.
Yeah. I think it is also, like you were talking about by the pool, I think it is kind of a summer sipper. I know we're in the middle of fall, but it does have kind of a very refreshing, it's not very simple either though. Like I think there's a little bit of, but there's just like it's not going to be dangerous on a summer.
No, because it's got that bitterness at the end, almost like, it's almost like plasticky. There's something almost artificial about a Band-Aid-y or something at the end that it's like, it's like sometimes you drink a soda and you're like, delicious. It's like a diet soda. And then you're like, ooh, but at the end, it's like very chemically.
Yeah, it's almost a little
chemically.
And I don't know why this is coming to mind, but it's almost like the other one, a little stale.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. I actually think that's like it's been open too long.
Yeah.
Like it's already a wine that like, is this 2 days old?
Right.
Is it just at the end of and it already tastes that way?
Yeah.
What, any other food that you'd have with this?
I think you're on the right track.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. You just couldn't think of anything else.
Not really. No, I just think, I am thinking of, again, I'm kind of picturing this whole idea of being by a pool. So I could see some grilled things, like even like grilled chicken, grilled vegetables, You know?
Okay. All right. And then let's rate it. So what rating would you give this wine?
So this one, I think I'm going to give it a 5.
See, now I'm going to give this a 5 as well. To me, this is a 5.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it. There are Sauvignon Blancs that, the Costco Kirkland Sauvignon Blanc is 8,000 times better than this.
My God.
So I would, and it's half the price. Yeah. So there's wines that I would buy, but if I'm at a party or at a shindig or something and somebody's serving this, I'm fine with it.
Way over the Chardonnay.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. But that to me is a 5 rating.
Yeah.
It's not bad enough that you're going to pour it down the sink. Like, we'll drink more of this tonight.
Okay.
But I wouldn't buy it.
No.
I wouldn't feel good about serving it when I have the Costco one. Yeah. There's better wines out there. So that's why I just couldn't abide by your 5.
You're right. Because you knew that I was just being, again,
you're being nice.
Generous.
You're in a good mood and you're just being nice.
And if I give it a poor rating,
it's poor.
I'm mad.
Exactly.
And
but
odd.
That's not true. You're just being honest.
Maybe today I'm odd and now I'm being more generous.
Maybe you're just feeling bad about that. Okay. We're going to take a break and we're going to try our last wine.
Okay.
Okay, we're back and we're ready to try this last wine. This is the Bread Butter Cabernet Sauvignon from California. It's a 2022, $13.99 at wine.com. Only 13.5% alcohol, which was strange.
Right.
Same as the Chardonnay. And it's a lot of times California cabs are like in the 14.5 or higher range. 100% Cabernet Sauvignon as far as we can tell. And let's look at the color first.
It's pretty.
It's pretty. It's not as dark or inky as a lot of times a Cabernet Sauvignon is.
Yeah. It's actually quite pretty, and it's more
shimmery
and
it's more translucent. It's more see-through than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm, I like it.
I would have expected a little more. I would have expected
inky.
To be darker. Yeah. When you smell it, what are you smelling?
Ooh, my first sniff was very smoky.
Yeah, smoke, oak, cedar. Mm-hmm. Smells a little church winey.
A little bit, like
sweet.
A little sweet and a little like basic or like house wine, like something house wine about it,
But I'm getting like cherry. I think like a little bit of black cherry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Maybe a little bit of plum even too, I would say, or currant or something.
Yeah, I think currant. Maybe it's like a little bit, there's a little like licorice on it, like almost like a little salty black licorice on it too. Okay. I'm kind of smelling. Mm-hmm. Are you getting that at all? I kind of just feel like, those salty black licorices. I kind of smell them.
Actually, when you put them in your mouth, you're pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
They're kind of hard too.
Yeah. Break your teeth.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, whoops, chose the wrong kind.
I will say, though, it's not unpleasant smelling.
No. It's actually pretty pleasant. There's a little bit of sweetness on it, a little bit churchy smell to it.
It smells like wine. Like our kids, this is what our kids would say. It smells like wine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay.
Very perfumey.
Yeah, like
very potpourri, very grandma's perfume.
Yeah.
This is the kind of like thin
not super juicy or anything like that.
No, it's rose perfume.
Rose, yeah.
That's what it tastes like. Grandma's rose
those
perfume.
Little
potpourri.
Little potpourri like sachets that you would find in your
and you accidentally ate it.
No, what? No, the other thing is when like I remember my grandma or like an aunt would put those wood pieces, cedar inside, and it had a little bit of perfumey scent on it too, and that was supposed to keep your garments smelling fresh.
Yeah,
it has a little bit of that cedar taste on it too, or something.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's tart. It's got a little cherry on it. It doesn't have a great aftertaste.
No.
It doesn't have much tannin.
No. It's not very complex.
It's a little like smoky on the end, but like campfire smoke that you are coughing. I think to go back to what you were saying, it feels or tastes like a wine that's been left out too long. Like this is when you go to a restaurant and you can tell that they don't serve a lot of wine because they pull out the red wine because they only say red wine. And at that point that it's Cabernet Sauvignon and it's probably been open for a day. It was like open overnight and they don't, and this is what it tastes like. It's not quite shit, but it's not very good. And I don't want another glass.
Yeah.
I'll finish it.
Would you finish it?
I'd finish it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't, anyway, we're not there yet. What would you eat with it?
I think I'd have to have like something like a cheeseburger, and I'm not even a burger girl. But
burger girl.
I'm not a burger girl, but like it's something pretty bold.
Pizza, something like that.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of treating me like the Chardonnay, where you want something that's going to kind of mask it a little bit.
Yeah. I agree. I think, maybe some red meat, but it's not like a juicy steak wine. I don't think. That's the other thing is it's very thin. It doesn't have a lot of body. A Cabernet Sauvignon, like a California Cab, you think of it as like big, powerful, jammy.
Yeah, no, you're not. I'm not getting that.
This isn't jammy. It's like, maybe it tastes like a Concord grape jelly.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Like you put a little jelly on your toast. That's kind of a little bit what it tastes like, but it doesn't have that big, like bold taste.
No.
So, what would you give? What rating would you give this wine?
Well, I think that I'm kind of like, I'm almost in like your Chardonnay camp. Like, I could probably give it close to a 3.
Wow.
I'm just not going to finish it. As much as I've had like little sips and trying it now, I think I'll give it a 3.
See, to me, this is a 5-er. This is like a generous 5. It's between a 4 and a 5. I'm contemplating, we probably will end up throwing it out, but only because we won't get to it. I mean, I could see having a glass of it, maybe.
Yeah,
I am finding at the end, it has this weird smoke aftertaste, like not like I smoked a cigarette, but like, again, like I was at a campfire and I breathed in too much smoke and I keep coughing it. That's kind of weird aftertaste.
That's what I'm finding too. That's why I just don't. I mean, maybe I could give it a 4, but like a 4 or 3.
No,
what's the
stick
big?
with what
yeah,
you got.
I mean, I just feel like I'm not
5 after that 5 in the Chardonnay.
But I gave it a 4.
Crap.
But the thing is again, like you can tolerate these types of wines more than I can, whereas I can tolerate a Chardonnay better than you can.
That might be true.
And you don't need to tolerate wine, people. Like that's not a good thing.
You shouldn't. Life is too short to tolerate wine.
Right. So I was kind of tolerating that Chardonnay more than I probably needed to.
I agree. Which of these are you finishing tonight?
The Sauvignon Blanc.
Agree. And what do you think about bread and butter wines in general?
Well, the thing is I do think that we're not. Yeah.
At best.
Well, and that's the thing
crap.
is I don't think
you can do way better for the price point.
For sure. Go to Costco.
Way better for this is my point. Like this is what
Trader Joe's wines are better.
This is what makes me frustrated is that people are spending, decent, like $14 for some people is a decent amount of money to spend on a bottle of wine. And you can get way better wine, but like it's easy to find. So this is what people are buying. And it's just, I think it's bad.
The other thing is, I think that what they've been striving for, consistency, is that if we like the Sauvignon Blanc a lot more,
but I don't
then I'm saying if we did, then
it would be okay.
It would be like, oh, well, they just really don't like Chardonnay and Cabernet, so that would be like more like confirmation of that. But we didn't really rate that, second bottle very high either.
No.
So
yeah, I think they're meh at best. I thought the Chardonnay was really bad, but middle of the road, but you can do better. Okay, let's do the taste profiles expected from these wines. The 2022 Bread and Butter, the winery says a rich and memorable Chardonnay with creamy notes of vanilla bean, almond, and a touch of tropical fruit. Balanced acidity and savory oak lead to a long, smooth finish. We did get some of those flavors.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
Buy Wines Online says, this wine opens with a delicate aroma of vanilla bean. We are definitely getting vanilla. Mm-hmm. Reminiscent of a decadent creme brulee.
Holy moly.
That is amazing. You got that. Balanced and soft minerality, hint of tropical fruit. On the palate, creamy notes continue to unfold, accompanied by bright acidity and well-integrated oak. I didn't find it super creamy. I found it buttery. Bright acidity, no. Like I don't agree, and I don't think it was that oaky actually all that much. But anyway, the Bread and Butter Sauvignon Blanc winery says expressive and shining with aromas of lemon zest and a hint of tropical fruit. We did get that. Lively flavors of fresh citrus lead to a rich texture that is completed by enticing minerality and a clean, refreshing finish. Another place said fermented in stainless steel tanks, the Sauvignon Blanc has maximized aromas of lemon zest, tropical fruit, and fresh air-dried linen. Zesty citrus and herbs complement the minerality. I was getting like a Band-Aid. I didn't feel like I was getting a lot of minerality.
Right.
And the Cabernet Sauvignon, the winery says, this robust wine charms with layers of mocha, fresh berries, black currant, and subtle black pepper, toasted oak, and rich vanilla, round and soft. I didn't think it was round and soft at all. With a hint of spice, soft tannins weave into a smooth and lingering finish.
I want to try that
sweet
bottle.
Vanilla. I want that one too. Tasty Vine says, the flavors are basic but smooth and overall well-balanced, making this an approachable wine for a wide audience. Totally agree. It's a punchy Cabernet with notes of heavy black fruits and vanilla.
I'm not really sure a Cabernet lover would like this so much.
But that's why I think they said a wide audience. They didn't say Cabernet lover. They said a wide audience. I think it's kind of a nondescript, non-insulting wine. Okay. They also say, although this is not a very complex wine, it certainly does its intended job well. I agree. If this is supposed to be uncomplicated, whatever, fine. That's what it was. And another place called Venada said, this Cabernet Sauvignon is beautifully designed with a palette of ripe blackberry and layers of chocolate-covered cherries. Did you get chocolate-covered cherry? I got a little cherry, but I don't know. Anyway, well, I trust us. And we say you can do better.
At least for us. It's not on the... It's not on the chopping block.
It's on the chopping block. It's not on the list. Okay, Carmela, it's time for us to go. But before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. And if you haven't done so yet, now would be a great time to follow us or subscribe to our podcast. And also a great time to leave us a nice rating review on our website. And we'd love to hear from you about, do you like these episodes? Do you want us to do more of wines like this? Or do you want us just to stick to what we do, like our odder varietals and different wine regions and all that stuff? Let us know. You can leave a message for us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. You can email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com, or you can just DM us on Instagram, whatever it is. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear more from you about what you want us to do. But with that, we're going to sign off. We want to thank you once again. We'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking okay wines. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And the happy ending at the end of our story. Always think too much. Always drink too much. Always pray too much. Always play too much. And when I'm with you too much, I fall in love too much. And when I'm away too much,